Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1695. Today we're with the Car Kings. We're going to have some fun.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today I'm in beautiful Northridge, California with a very cool and very fun guest by the name of Beau Boeckmann. Beau, welcome to Cars Yeah. Are you buckled up and ready for a fun ride?
I am ready, and thank you, Mark. I appreciate being on the show.
We're going to have some fun. Now, before I give you a proper introduction, as if everybody doesn't already know who you are, would you share one little thing that maybe most people don't know about you?
Well, you know, we were talking a little earlier. You talked about my last name and how to pronounce it, and Boeckmann, and it's a German name of German heritage. And actually, my great-grandfather immigrated from Stuttgart, Germany in 1879 directly to Los Angeles. So
Wow.
We've been in Los Angeles a very long time. And that's some fun family history. And the other fun thing about Stuttgart is we just opened up our newest franchise, which is Porsche.
Nice.
And when I was applying, I made sure to make it known that my middle name is actually Ferdinand. So that's my kind of little fun fact, I guess.
I think that's pretty cool. My listeners know I am a big-time Porsche fanatic. I'm excited that one of your newest franchise is Porsche. You guys there at Galpin Ford. I mean, saying Galpin Ford is just a tiny little piece of this giant empire that your family has grown and what you're carrying on, the legacy of Galpin Ford and everything you do. But I'm so excited about you guys being a part of the Porsche family. And then when I find out your middle name is Ferdinand, oh my gosh.
Which, by the way, growing up was the most embarrassing name that you could possibly imagine. Ferdinand.
Yeah.
By the way, my real first name is Herbert. So as a kid growing up with the name Herbert Ferdinand, it was not the funnest. But luckily, my parents were kind to me and called me Beau. So I got lucky there. Now I really truly appreciate my middle name. That's for sure. Now that I'm a real Porsche enthusiast and I get it now I appreciate it a lot.
Well, absolutely. My middle name, which I don't think I've ever even mentioned on this show, is Stacy.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever even said that. My buddies growing up would tease me because Stacy was thought of as a girl's name, but Stacy was my grandfather, a very special person in my mom's life, just a larger-in-life figure, and so she wanted to carry that on. We've done that in our family. My daughter's middle name is Stacy. My son's is William because my grandfather was named Bill or William. So I think it's important to carry on these family traditions. So, but Herbert Ferdinand Boeckmann, that's very regal.
Yeah. Well, and that's so cool that you've got a middle name like Stacy, like Carol Shelby. And, what's funny is my brother's middle name is Leslie. So,
there you go.
It's cool to have these unusual names. You don't appreciate it when you're a kid, but when you get older, it's fun, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let me give you a proper introduction as if you need an introduction. And we're going to dive into the questions here. Beau Boeckmann is the president and COO of Galpin Ford. He started Galpin Autosports as a teenager, and there they customized, renovated, and restored all makes and models of vehicles, including cult car mods and a whole lot more. He is very passionate about all things automotive and notorious in the motor world for doing anything it takes to find rare historical cars and original customs. You'll recognize Beau from his leads on television. He was a consulting producer on Pimp My Ride and is the driving force on Discovery Channel's Driven, which is now titled Car Kings, where he and his car builders Dave Shutton and customizing specialist Mad Mike Martin are revving up the engines to save automotive history and rescue car culture from oblivion. Let's talk with Beau in just a minute, but first a word from our very valued sponsors here. Please give them a little love. They're the ones that make this show possible. When we come back, we're going to dive into this life of Beau Boeckmann. Sit tight. The best way to protect your vehicles is with a Covercraft custom-fit car cover. I know because I've been using their covers on my vehicles since 1975. Plus, they offer a multitude of options depending on your situation. Indoor covers include form fit, dust stop, the oh-so-soft fleece satin, and their very unique View Shield, a cover that protects while allowing you to see your favorite vehicle while the cover's on your car. Amazing. Need a cover that will protect your ride outside? Their incredible options allow you to choose from Weather Shield, Sunbrella, Weather Shield HD, Block It, Reflect, Carhartt, Evolution, Nova, and Weather Shield HP. So many options. Whether you're looking for rain protection, UV shielding from the sun's damaging rays, breathability, dust protection, snow protection, even ding protection, and protection from those paint-destroying bird droppings, they've got you covered. Their soft touch covers are safe for your paint, and the custom fit keeps them from blowing off. If you live in a windy area, get the Covercraft Gust Guards. They're a must-have if your car sits outside in windy conditions. Worried about theft? They have cable locks too with built-in grommets that keep your cover safely on your vehicle. Their website makes ordering fast and easy, and their talented customer service department will walk you through any ordering questions. They can customize a cover for almost any vehicle on the planet. And I've got a deal for you. If you use the code YEAH120 at covercraft.com, you'll get 10% off your Covercraft order. That's right. So go to covercraft.com, use the code YEAH, YEAH120 at checkout, and get 10% off on me, Mark here at Cars Yeah. Covercraft, they've got you covered. American Collectors Insurance, that's who now protects my Porsche Turbo. Yeah, the one I call my Orange Crush. When it came time to renew my policy, my carrier jacked my rates up, even though I'd been with them for years. I'd never made a claim. No tickets, nothing. What's with that? Adios. So I started shopping around and kept hearing about American Collectors Insurance from fellow automotive enthusiasts, friends, and folks in the car industry. I did some investigating and learned that American Collectors Insurance have been protecting collector vehicles since 1976. I'm not a price shopper when it comes to insurance. I want to be able to sleep at night. I also want agreed value protection for my special ride. With an agreed valued policy from American Collectors Insurance, I'll be paid what my vehicle's full agreed value is, a number I set with the insurer at the start of the policy, so I know there will be no surprises about what my car's value is, should something terrible happen. I shopped around and decided to protect my car with American Collectors Insurance. Give them a call for a quote today at 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324, and protect the ones you love. Make sure you tell them Mark sent you. You'll be glad you did. American Collectors Insurance. Classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors. All right, as we continue on your journey here, Beau, I would love for you to share a mantra or some kind of success quote. This is some kind of saying that's been instrumental in your success. I always say it's a nice way to get those inspirational tires smoking a little bit here on Cars Yeah. So, Beau, I know you love to drive. Take the wheel.
Well, I would have to go back to my father, who was obviously the greatest inspiration in my life, along with my mother. But it really, when we talk about our dealerships, the only reason that we have to be in business is to serve our customer. And he instilled that servant's attitude. So whether it's serving our customers or serving our employees, it's about having that servant's attitude. And I think that is what has helped make him successful, and it was what helped make Galpin successful, and I hope it's what makes me successful as well. So that's kind of our mantra. The other thing I look at it is tenacity. Success is a matter of time, and if you're really devoted to it, you just have to never quit and just keep at it. And I think that is really one of the biggest secrets to success, is just not giving up. So that's another thing that we look at. But most importantly in my life, it's been that servant's attitude.
The service in the respect of an automotive business or empire, which is what your family has built and what you've been given the torch, or earned the torch, I should say, because I'd imagine you had definitely earned it, to carry this forward. There's so many car dealerships that come and go. There's many that are really not that great. And to do what you guys have done and carry on with all these marks and be entrusted like this new one with Porsche, means you guys have done exactly that. You've served your customers and your employees so well. I think it's tremendous what you've built, and it's just, I'm in awe because I look at something like what your family's done, and it really blows me away. And then on top of it, as if you're not busy enough with that, you've decided to do this little thing on Discovery Channel, which has evolved into Car Kings. I mean, do you have any time that you ever sleep at night?
Well, I don't know if it's smart or dumb, but I turned all of what I love to do for fun into work and work into fun. So like, I love going to car shows. I love working on cars. I love classic cars and things. That's my passion. So if I can turn that passion and actually turn it into, quote unquote work, then, what a great thing to have my work and my passions come together. So I'm the luckiest guy in the world when it comes to that. I watch a little bit of sports, but not too much, and certainly, when our local teams get in, like the World Series and the Lakers in the championship, it's interesting to watch. But for me, I'd rather watch a car auction. I'm that kind of guy. Like that, my wife comes in the room and I'm watching a car auction, and she just thinks it's the most boring thing in the world, like watching paint dry. But I think it's a lot of fun. So that's what I do. That's my love. So I'm very lucky that my passion and my work are the same, pretty much.
Well, you've discovered the secret sauce to life. That's what Cars Yeah is all about, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, people who've wrapped their passion into their careers and lives. Before we talk a little bit about Car Kings and that venture, I want you to talk a little bit about the incredible Galpin Ford, the Galpin Collection, the history, the legacy, and what you guys have built there. You guys have so many marks, and you're so well known and so revered, really, by so many people that enjoy buying automobiles and doing that. So let's start with the Galpin Ford empire that your father, before you, created and built, started with a Ford dealership and just has grown into this mighty thing. It's just, I'm in awe.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Actually, Galpin started in 1946. Frank Galpin opened it up. His actually partner was a B-movie actor his name was Brown. It was called Brown and Galpin initially. And the first picture we have of Galpin kind of says it all still today. And there's a picture of the latest fabulous 1946 convertible Woody on the showroom floor. There's a 1914 Model T showing a classic car. And in the background, you see a big sign that says accessories. And it's kind of a little bit about what we're about. Like the latest, greatest, newest model, it's, can be galvanized, looking at the classics for inspiration and accessories so that our customers can really make it their own vehicle. And when you drive onto Galpin, you're going to see vehicles, galvanized already that, hopefully you've never seen anything like it before. So my father actually started in 1953 as a salesperson at Galpin and really just worked his way up. He was very different, I think, than other salespeople at the time. Because, back in those days, it wasn't really known as being the most, let's call it, upfront profession. I don't know what you want to call it, but my dad is the most honest person I've ever known. So I think, he was, I don't know, oxymoron of being an honest car salesman.
Yes.
He's the hardest working guy I've ever known in my life. He always figured, if I can't outsmart him, I could outwork him. He didn't know he could actually outsmart him, too, because he's a really smart guy. But the most important thing about my dad and my mom is that they sincerely care about others. They sincerely care about every customer that walks in the showroom. They can sincerely care about every employee that works at Galpin, and they sincerely care about all of our community and our world, quite frankly. You can call that love as well. I was very fortunate. I grew up with a lot of love. So that was a very positive. And then, when my dad was leading Galpin, he became a manager, I think, in 1957 at 27 years old. But he always was open to new ideas. And I think, always open to change. And, when ideas came about, galvanizing or, racing or doing different things like that, Dad was always very open to that. So I think that helped us really build to differentiate ourselves. So we differentiated ourselves with, quite frankly, being upfront and honest. We differentiated ourselves by providing different type of financial services. Like we were the first into leasing. And when we moved from San Fernando to Galpin, where we are now, we had over 2,000 leases because that was not really heard of back in the 60s. So we were advanced there. And We were also into racing. We were the West Coast NASCAR champions for 4 years in a row. Yeah. And we did all this crazy galvanizing. We were on the cover of Motor Trend in 1953, right when my dad started. We had one of the top 10 customs of the year, according to Motor Trend magazine. So we had all this really fun and rich history that, for me, has just been an absolute delight to build on. So when you talk about what makes us different as a car dealership, and we've got this wonderful history to build on, but, we really try to make it fun for our customers. We try to be a place that you actually, I talk about it's more fun to go to a dentist than a car dealership. Well, I don't, that's terrible. I want to actually make it enjoyable. So we do all of our pricing up front on the internet. We just put it out there. We want to create a hassle-free place to come and just have fun looking at our cars and hopefully it's a great experience. So I try to sum it all up. There's a lot to put in there, but it's about like I said, serving our customers and making it an enjoyable place to come and service your car or buy a car. So that's all grown from what my mom and dad have. Their creativity and their openness to other ideas. So when we moved to where we are now in 1966, they called it America's first automotive department store.
Oh, well,
and
cool.
We were the first with our own restaurant, our Horse's Carriage restaurant. Our chef came from the Beverly Hills Hotel. He's been with us, going on 20 years now, I think. So our food is fantastic at our restaurant. We've got Galpin Auto Sports where we customize cars. We've got a collection where we have some classic cars to look at. So when you come here, we were the first dealership with a full-service Starbucks. So we try to create, more of an experience when you come to Galpin than just shopping for a car. So I think that's, what's given us some, real longevity and able to grow during these times.
Innovation. I mean, the willingness to change, the innovation, it's just amazing. That's why I said I'm in awe, because I've done some research on you and your family and your company before you came on the show. And everything I kept unfolding was like this beautiful flower that just kept opening and it got prettier and prettier.
Oh, you're so kind.
It's absolutely phenomenal. Well, that's obviously something that's evolved into your life because you listened, you lived with your parents, you grew up around them. And that kind of, I think it channeled you into the television that you've been doing. You were part of Pimp My Ride, which is a very successful show, and then Driven, which has evolved into Car Kings. So tell my listeners more about Car Kings, what you're doing there, the fun that you and your two cohorts that are just, you guys look like you're having so much fun.
Oh, it's an absolute blast. So, what we're really trying to do is find some really historically important cars and tell the stories behind them. And most important are, of course, the people. And there's a lot of unsung heroes in the automotive world. And, we're trying to just bring some of those heroes to light. Some are very well known, like we had Carroll Shelby's Pantera that we did, and we found the engine that Lee Iacocca gave to Carroll Shelby for this project, which was actually the test bed for the Dodge Viper. So bringing all those pieces together and then telling that story, that was a real honor. But we also want to bring to light, people that, were once very famous, but now, I don't want to say they're getting forgotten because I certainly hope not. But, we want to make sure that people still remember the automotive greats like George Barris and Big Daddy Roth and, guys like that really have had a huge impact on automotive culture. And I want to make sure, I would hope that, that kids today can also appreciate their work and understand where it came from and continue to love automotive culture. So, the introduction's a little dramatic on, bringing automotive culture, saving it and all that. That's, what producers like to write, for commercials. But the truth is, a lot of automotive culture is kind of being forgotten. And we do want to remind people what a fun history we have in this industry. So that's kind of what we're doing. And singing the unsung and bringing those people to light that maybe been in the shadows for a little too long. So and that's what I thought.
It's tremendous what you're doing. It's so much fun. And it's nice to preserve history, bring it back, and also teach those of us who consider us to be enthusiasts some new things we didn't even know. I think that's what I like about the show. So I go, wow, I didn't know that. How come I didn't know that? I should have known that. Well, Beau knows that. So
and I'm learning things, we've got to do the research too. And it's so much fun when we uncover these things. Like I never knew the story of the Shelby Pantera. And the more we dug into it, the more, the more the story unfolded. And And so many vehicles like that, with Ed Newton and Newt, he designed many of Big Daddy Ross cars, and he's a guy that, really never got his credit, and credit's due.
Right.
And, to have him tell the stories of, how some of these cars were created, and the wishbone that we did, Big Daddy Ross hated it so much, he actually cut it in half and threw it in the trash. It was his builder, Dirty Doug, that actually pulled it out of the trash can and then rebuilt it in secret because he was going to be, he really got upset when it reappeared,
Yeah.
So, I mean, these stories are really fascinating and fun parts of automotive history. And we hope that, maybe even if people aren't totally car nuts, that maybe it'll help them get a little bit more into cars. You know what I mean? So try and tell some fun stories.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Really, really love it. I always like to talk to my guests a bit about a big challenge that they faced in their life, maybe even a big failure. And the reason I bring it up is more about how you handled it, how you took that as a really valuable learning lesson so you could move forward. So walk us through one of those times in your life, if you would. But more importantly, tell us how that specific experience helped you to gain even more momentum as you came out on the other end.
Yeah, well, my first thoughts on failure are never be afraid of failure. Failure is the best teacher. It certainly hurts when it happens, but, God's got a plan, and usually you learn a lesson by failure. And, success doesn't usually teach you as, nearly as much as failure does. So you got to appreciate failure sometimes. The most recent example I'll give, and it's actually not a personal failure. I've had so many failures in my life. We could spend a podcast talking about that if you wanted to.
We'll come back and have you talk on this, a second visit here on Cars. Yeah.
Failure is wonderful. So you want to, appreciate it for what it is, but being a great teacher. But, I'd like to talk about something I'm really proud of our team, what we did. And that's actually what just happened now with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had one of the scariest experiences, in my life when COVID happened. Certainly we were afraid for everyone, all of our employees, our customers, older people like my parents. We weren't sure what was going on. And, we got together as a group and decided that we needed to shut down. And this was before we were mandated by the government, but we didn't feel like it was safe. Mm-hmm. So we actually shut down a day before it was mandated by the city. Now, we didn't know if it was going to be mandated or not, but we wanted to do the right thing, even though it was very difficult. Yeah. And our team got to work. So we didn't go home and hide. We went to work. We got supplies. Luckily, we have a restaurant. We were able to get supplies, food for our employees who might not need it. Now, remember in the beginning, everyone was so scared to even go outside or to the store.
Right.
So we were stockpiling some food for our employees. We were stockpiling toilet paper.
Oh, you were the guys that bought up all the toilet paper.
Well, no, we didn't have to. We had already bought it. So we had our coffers full of toilet paper. We were able to share that. It's so silly. I would never have thought like that, right? We'd share that with our employees. And then, because service was considered an essential business, we knew we needed to open up safely and quickly. We were the first dealership that I know of that got an electrostatic spray gun, for lack of a better word, that actually kills the germs on contact. Mm-hmm. So immediately we went into creating processes when our customers come in to spray down the car and to wear the masks and the gloves. And, when they come in, spray it down to protect our employees. When it goes out, spray it down to protect our customers. We put up the screens and, our team really became the example in the industry of how to handle it. So when we opened back up, every news channel came out to see what we were doing. And we were really heralded as the example of how to properly, as good as possible, nothing's perfect, handle things. So I am so incredibly proud of our team. And when we put it together, we opened up for service. And then when we opened sales, I had calls from all over, friends, dealers all over the place, to give them. Of course, we're going to share everything that we do because it's about public safety. Yep. But I was really proud of our team. And our sales increased. Our market share went up dramatically. And I think because we showed a genuine care for our customers and our employees, then we were rewarded for people, having trust and faith in us that we were going to handle them responsibly. So that's our the latest example, but I'm so proud of our employees.
Well, it goes back to what we originally talked about, serving others.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys did. And those companies that have been able to pivot and serve others, continue to serve others and think about others. And again, it goes back against the old notion of car dealerships not being so caring. I think they've mostly all changed now. At least I certainly hope so, just because of the world that we live in. But that's a tremendous story, Beau. Really proud of what you guys have done. Absolutely spectacular. We're going to take a short break and thank our sponsors here. And when we come back, I want to dive into this personal, deep, deep passion that you have for cars. So keep the seatbelts on. We'll be right back. Let's take a pit stop from the conversation and talk about my charity of choice here at Cars Yeah, America's Automotive Trust. America's Automotive Trust is a group of like-minded nonprofits working together to preserve and promote car culture across the country. Together, they provide scholarships and grants to aspiring technicians and restoration artists. They provide youth education programs and bring communities together through auto-related events, car shows, and drives. One of those nonprofits is very near and dear to my heart because it's right down the road from the Cars Yeah headquarters. It's the LeMay America's Car Museum in Tacoma, Washington. One of the world's truly great automobile collections and one of those must-see bucket list destinations for car people like you and me. If you haven't seen it, I hope you make a trip soon. And if you have seen it, it's probably time to visit again. To learn more about this fantastic museum, go to www.americascarmuseum.org. And while you're there, you can donate to help them keep their engines running. That's www.americascarmuseum.org. What do you do after running a race team for 27 years with over 100 professional wins, multiple wins at the 24-Hour of Daytona, and a win at Le Mans? Well, if you're Kevin Buckler, a racer and the racing group's team owner, you create Adobe Road Winery. Located in Petaluma, California, he and his team have created a winning combination with the Racing Series, 4 ultra-premium red wine blends that are in a class of their own. Like racing, these wines comprise of art, precision, engineering, science, and a whole lot of fun. You can choose from 4 blends titled Redline, Apex, Shift, and the 24. Today, I'm going to tell you about Redline. It's a rich and complex blend delivering a taste of ripe blackberries, black cherry licorice, and a hint of toasty oak. An added very cool option is that this features the world's first interactive wine label. That's right. When you pour the wine, the 3-dimensional tachometer actually hits the red line. It's incredible. The Racing Series is a killer gift for the automotive enthusiast in your life, and I've got a deal for you. If you use the code CARSYEAH, all one word in all caps, when you go to checkout, you'll get $10 off any purchase of wines from the Racing Series. The wine ships promptly and arrives quickly right at your door. Use the code CARSYEAH at checkout for $10 off of your purchase today. There's always a seat at the table for excellence with the Racing Series. Go to adoberoadwines.com and use the code CARSYEAH to save $10 today. Cheers! All right, Beau, we are back, and I would love for you to share a story that instigated your passion for cars. Now, a guy that grew up in a family like yours, it's almost mandatory, and to have the name Ferdinand and the heritage from Stuttgart, you got to be a car lover. But is there kind of a pivotal moment in your life when you knew that you were going to follow in your folks and your family's footsteps and love cars?
I don't know that there was a quote, one moment, and I kind of always felt like it was my destiny getting in the car business, even when I was in preschool. I remember I couldn't draw a car, and I thought, boy, how embarrassing. I should be able to draw a car really well because my dad sells cars, and as a little kid, I thought, but I can't draw worth a damn still. And, I grew up on the lot with all these really crazy custom galvanized cars, which were always fun. My cousins and I would play hide and seek in our motorhomes and our custom vans. And, always was around these really fun vehicles. But it probably started, as many kids do, when I was 15 years old and getting my learner's permit. And my grandmother had actually willed me her car. And that was my very first car, which was a Mercedes 220 SE. And it was green on green, my favorite colors back then. But I decided to galvanize it, customize it. Okay. So I painted it black with a leopard skin interior, and I really got into galvanizing that car. And it came out so cool. It sounds kind of goofy now, but that was the Mercedes that actually had fins to it. It had this kind of really cool look to it, and it just came out spectacular. And I think when I, hit my 16th birthday, and that was my big present because I got good grades and made up my good grades so I could earn getting my car. At that moment, I think that's when I went, oh, I love this, and the first time I drove my car, I think that was probably it. When I got to drive something that I helped create, and galvanize, that was something really special. And, from then on, I just loved it more, probably every day. So, and I've got a little bit of automotive ADD. I just love the industry. I love all different kinds of cars.
What year was that 220?
65.
65. Oh, gosh, those were back in the days of the hand-built Mercedes. Incredible cars, and I know exactly the car that you're talking about. Now, was this car a coupe or a four-door?
It was a four-door. My grandmother, Granny, she used to drive it from Arkansas out to Southern California every year. And I'd see her arrive with her little pet chihuahua Fifi in the passenger seat. Those are things you never forget when you're a kid. And I still love that car. It's the last physical object I would ever sell.
That model car, when you think about the 65 220 SC, and I love the coupe version of that car, I've always thought that car would make, because of that little bit of that fin in the back, would make an incredible customized resto rod, kind of a SEMA show special type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, now most purists would
That's
go,
a great
Mark,
idea.
it's like,
I never
Mark,
even thought of that.
yeah, why would you do that to that beautiful classic? But I just have always thought that, I think that you could do some pretty cool things to that car because it's got the beginning elements of some wonderful attributes to, I don't know. I just, it's a Ring Brothers build, or Louis Shefchik out here at J&O Fabricating could do something, or my good friend Butch Dennison. Yeah, there you go. But you got to keep Grandma's car the way it is. I mean, that's kind of a given, right? Except you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't. But I remember, at 15, I was looking at all kinds of crazy things. Flames. I was painting it purple. I was actually thinking some pretty wild things. I ended up doing a little bit tamer, as crazy as that sounds, and it came out beautiful. But I had some fun with that. That was my first real customizing job.
Well, I think that's pretty sweet. Well, I'm going to crawl into your head here, Beau. Maybe this is a place not too many people dare to go, but I'm going to have some fun with it. If you woke up tomorrow and you were manifest as a vehicle, now this isn't what you want to be. This is taking your attributes as a human and then manifesting them into metal and glass and steel and rubber and chrome and oil and gas. What would Beau Boeckmann be? But more importantly, why?
This is a very difficult question. The car that oddly comes to mind, we have a from Galpin, actually was originally sold at Galpin, a 1965 Shelby. And it's completely original, and it's never been restored. But we got it running, but I didn't want anything to look new and shiny on it. And the paint's worn, the stripe is partially off of the front. The interior is in pretty good shape because it actually sat in a garage for 45 years. But it's got the stickers from Lion's drag strip still on it. It's got, the original owner's DNA and fingerprints all over it. And, I guess what I love about it is it still retains all of its originality, but it still runs really well.
Yeah.
And it created a legacy in that, and it's probably now it's more my dad. Now that I think about it, because my dad created a legacy, not me. But we can still look today, and that 2020 GT500 is one of the most awesome cars I think on the planet. And I love that old 65 just because it still has its old character to it, and you can restore it, and it could be perfect, and it could look like every other Shelby. But this one, when you bring it to a show, people will find it interesting because it's got old character and it's not all pretty and all polished up. So I don't know. That's what came to mind. I don't know how accurate that is, but I try to retain our originality.
Yeah.
And at the same time function, and at the same time, look towards the future. So that's my best guess.
I love it. Nice answer. Good. Well, nicely done. Well, we are entering what I call the last lap. I'm going to fire off some questions, have you give me some quick blips of that Shelby GT500 throttle. So here we go. What's one of your personal habits that you believe has helped contribute to your success over the years?
Oh, tenacity. Just never give up. You just got to keep going. You're going to fail and fail and fail along the way. Giving up is the failure. If you keep at it, you will eventually succeed.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, if I could wave my magic wand and arrange for you to have a drink or a meal with anybody in the automotive industry, living or deceased, who would it be?
Oh, that'd be Carroll Shelby. I love that guy. He had such a personality. He was so fun to be with and talk to and laugh with. And he was, the biggest legend in the world. But because, he went back with my father, so many years before I was born even, he just treated me so nice. And he just made me feel like a rock star when I was around him. And he was just a funny guy. And I love that guy. So Carroll Shelby.
There you go. Yeah. He and speaking of Ford, he and Henry Ford are the two most spoken of people when I asked that question here on Cars Yeah. So it's that Ford legacy, baby. It just keeps going and going
it's true.
And going. Now, when it comes to automotive advice, and this could be any kind of automotive advice, it could be buying new cars, it could be restoring cars, it could be just being around cars. What's the best advice someone else ever offered to you?
Well, again, going back to the best advice is that servant's attitude. That I'm in that business, so. There's no such thing as perfection, but you always try to achieve it. Like my dad always said, we strive for 100%. Not that you can reach 100%, but until you strive for 100%, you'll never know how far you can really go.
Yeah. Brilliant. What a mentor.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to great resources, I always ask my guests to share a great resource. One of them I'm going to put on your show notes page here. I found a video on YouTube of you walking through the Galpin Collection, and I was amazed at the eclectic mix of vehicles that you guys have there. I'll put a link to that for my listeners so you can go and find that and watch that. Beau kind of walks you through some cars, tells you about some history. So I'm going to start you off with that. But is there another great resource that you might want to share with our listeners today?
Well, to be honest, it's our Galpin family. That's the greatest resource I have is our people. We are blessed with so many, wonderful people from our top, executives I have the pleasure to work with, literally everyone within the organization. We have such an incredible group of people that watch out for each other. They watch out for our customers, and without them, we are nothing. We are nothing. My dad used to drive sometimes to Galpin on Christmas so that he could look around and realize that he's only a very small part of this. And without all of the employees, we're nothing.
I love the fact that you use the word family. It says a lot about you and your family and the group that you've built there. Now, Beau, when it comes to books, is there a book that perhaps you'd like to share with our listeners that you found really valuable?
Why don't I share a fun one?
Okay.
From my dear friend, Jason Torchinsky, who's the editor at Jalopnik. He wrote a book which is really fun and funny. Jason's probably one of my favorite writers. Matt Stone's one of my favorite writers. And it's called Robot Take the Wheel. And it's about kind of our autonomous, quote unquote future. And it's just a fun take on it. And I actually was honored to write the introduction. The introduction is not that great. I didn't, but the book is really fun. And, not too serious a read, you know what I'm saying? A fun ride. There's plenty of help books out there and things like that. And I'm probably not the best to advise on that, but for a good automotive fun read, Robot Take the Wheel by Jason Torchinsky.
Yes. No, that's a great book. And you did a nice job, by the way, Beau, on the intro. So don't diminish yourself at all. You did a great job with that.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, it's a great book. I love it. I'll make sure I put this book and all the other resources Beau has shared today on his very own Cars Yeah show notes page. Just go to carsyeah.com, type in Beau Boeckmann, Boeckmann. If you put in Ferdinand or Herbert, you won't find him. Just put in Boeckmann and you'll find him. He'll be right there and you'll enjoy everything he's sharing with us today. All right, we're almost there. We're up to the checkered flag. This last question could be a bit of a doozy. This is going to be maybe a tough one for you. I'm going to buy you a collector car today, Beau. Yeah, I'm actually going to buy you a car. Geez. But here are the rules to this little game. It's something you can't sell to buy a bunch of other toys with. You have to keep it and drive it. No garage queens or dust collectors. I don't think that's going to be a problem for a guy like you. But here's the hard part. It's the only one you can have in your garage, so it needs to tick a lot of boxes. It needs to be somewhat special, but I want it to be that vehicle that you walk out and go, that's the one I want to drive today. So what am I going to buy for Beau Boeckmann today?
Well, see, here's why the question's difficult, because if I had to answer, I'd have to have something that would include if I only had one car, I'd have to include my whole family in it, but then it takes out all the fun things. Yeah. So if I'm going to be selfish, and this is just for Beau Boeckmann.
Okay, that's fine.
I have to go to our brand new Ford GT, because every time I look at that car, looking at it makes me drool every day that I look at it.
Yeah.
We have the Heritage Edition there, and driving that car is so unbelievably special. It's so easy to drive that you can drive it in the middle of LA traffic and then take it out on a track or an open road and have all the fun in the world.
Yeah.
You could drive that car every day, everywhere. You could drive it to the track, beat everyone on the racetrack, and then drive it home, and it would do a wonderful job at everything that it does. So,
yeah.
If I could and be selfish, that would be it.
You picked a great one, and it's the old adage of win on Sunday, sell on Monday, which kind of works with a car that does it all. Now, and I love that new Ford. I mean, I love the one they came out with before, but this one is just insanely over the top.
Oh, yeah.
So that I get you the right car, which color do you want yours to be?
Well, it's got to be the Heritage, the Gulf Heritage
Yeah.
colors. To me, that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
I've got that model. I've got that model car, the original GT40, that's been in my office for years, and just I stare at that. So that in the modern form is that's the ultimate.
Well, my gosh, you picked a really, really special ride. I've driven and been in the first editions that they did, but I've not been in the new one. So I'll have to make sure that when I deliver that to you, I get a little extra miles in, so I can have a little bit of fun.
Come on over, let's go for a drive.
Absolutely, absolutely. Little Beau, you have taken me on just what a fun ride today. Really enjoyed sharing you with my audience. They're all smiling right now. I know it. And I want to thank you for sharing this incredible journey you and your family have taken, and the joy you've brought into so many people.
Thank you. It's too kind.
Before I let you go, though, could you offer us one little parting piece of wisdom or guidance before you rip off down the coast highway in that new Ford GT?
Well, I think I've said a lot of it, and that is, we're going through tough times right now, but stay encouraged. Everyone, when it comes, just do your best today. When we worry about tomorrow, it can be overwhelming, and all we can do is do our best today. And that's what I try to do, is just do my best for today. And God says to put the worries on Him, so we let tomorrow worry on itself and take care of what we need to today and just do our best.
Nice.
And certainly with all the difficulties that are going on in life, if we could just focus on that, I think it makes life just a little bit easier and better.
What a great 4 words for the times we're living in right now. Do your best today. Listeners, go out and do your best today. Be a servant of others. Do something good for somebody today, even if it's just a little bit of an encouragement or a phone call.
That's right.
And what's the best way for my listeners to keep up with you there at Galpin Ford, and also to enjoy Discovery Channel's Car Kings?
Well, it's on Discovery Go right now, and our website is galpin.com, and also galpinautosports.com, and then, of course, we're on Instagram, and my Instagram page, I'm getting up and running again. I let it go for a little too long, but I'll make it fun and interesting again, starting here very soon. But we got some great social media at all of our Galp. You just put in Galpin on Instagram, really some fun things, all our different franchises, and we like to invite people down to Galpin too. When Top Gear magazine called us the Disneyland of car dealerships. So if you're in LA, we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. When you get to LA, you got to go visit this place. It'll blow you away. Again, you can find everything on Beau's show notes page here at carsyeah.com. I encourage you to follow him on Discovery Channel's Car Kings. You're going to put a smile on your face just like you got today. Beau, thanks for being so generous today with your time and your expertise, and for sharing your experience.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. This has been a delight. Until you and I talk again, my friend, I'll see you down the road.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. If you're listening to Cars Yeah, you've probably spent some time working on your favorite ride. But how confident are you working on your finances? You may be able to rebuild a fuel injection system, but can you decipher the details of a mutual fund? If you're like me, investments, insurance, annuities, budgeting, and other financial concepts may seem a bit daunting, but what if I told you there's a book that describes these subjects and more in an easy-to-read and a very humorous way? My friend Chris Kimball, CFP, a longtime sponsor and past guest here on Cars Yeah, has written that book, and it's titled The Saga of Ike and Penny, a couple's humorous journey through the confusing world of finance. It's a fun look at things you need to know, everything from investing to effective ways to get rid of credit card debt, and it's probably the only book on finance with a VMAX on the front cover and a classic Mini Cooper on the back. The book's available at Amazon for just $10, and this book will dramatically improve the direction of your financial future. I gave copies to each of my children. All securities are through Money Concepts Capital Corp. Christopher Kimball Financial Services is not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corp. Get your copy, The Saga of Ike and Penny, today.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.